An old man in a MAGA hat walks into an office, dismissed and mocked by the very employee he came to observe. But when the truth about who he really is comes out, the entire staff is left in shock. This is a story of respect, humility, and a lesson no one saw coming. Comments below, where are you watching from? And if you like and love our story, kindly subscribe our channel, Life Inspirational and Motivational Tales that explore themes of love, unity, and patriotism. Stay with us always for interesting stories. Thanks. Let's start the story. The office of Vertex Innovations was a bustling hub of activity where employees moved about with a confident air that suggested everything was under control. The sleek glass walls and modern furnishings created an illusion of harmony and efficiency. But beneath the surface, there was a growing unease about the company's culture. A culture where toxic attitudes were quietly tolerated, and professionalism often took a backseat to personal biases. On a crisp Monday morning, William Harris, a reserved man in his late 60s, walked through the front doors of the company he had built from the ground up. Dressed in khakis and a well-worn jacket, William looked more like a visitor than the CEO of the successful tech firm. Perched atop his head was a red MAGA hat, boldly declaring, "Make America Great Again." The hat wasn't meant as a political statement. It was simply a way for William to test how people treated those who appeared to be different or out of place. For years, William had stayed out of the spotlight, delegating public appearances and day-to-day operations to his trusted team of executives. But recently, anonymous complaints about workplace behavior had reached him. Stories of gossip, favoritism, and a lack of respect among employees. He decided it was time to see for himself what was happening in his company, and he chose to do so incognito. As William stepped into the lobby, the receptionist, Claire Pattison, glanced up briefly before returning to her phone. Claire was known for her sharp tongue and quick judgments, and she didn't bother hiding her initial impression of him. "Can I help you?" she asked, flatly, her eyes darting to the red hat before scanning his casual attire. William offered a polite smile. "Good morning. I'd like to speak with someone in management about your operations." Claire raised an eyebrow. "Do you have an appointment?" "No," William replied, his tone calm. "I thought I might be able to ask a few questions." Claire sighed, tapping her pen against the desk. "We're really busy today. Maybe try another time." She gestured dismissively toward the seating area without even glancing up. William nodded and moved to take a seat. He set his old leather briefcase on the floor beside him and quietly observed the activity around him. Employees passed by without so much as a glance, while Claire whispered to a colleague, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Who just shows up like that? And that hat?" "Seriously?" she asked. William caught the remark but showed no reaction. Years of boardroom negotiations had taught him the value of remaining composed. Moments later, Andrew Carter, a middle manager with an inflated sense of importance, strode into the lobby. Known for his need to assert control, Andrew thrived on making others feel small. When he noticed William sitting quietly, he approached Claire. "Who's that?" Andrew asked, nodding toward William. "Some guy without an appointment," Claire replied with a smirk. Wants to talk to management. Probably lost." Andrew chuckled, his gaze lingering on William's hat. "A MAGA hat. Wow. Guess we've got a time traveler here. Let me handle this." Andrew approached William, his tone condescending. "Can I help you with something?" "Ah." William looked up, his expression neutral. "Yes. I was hoping to learn more about your company's processes. I've heard good things and wanted to see for myself." Andrew crossed his arms, his smirk growing. "And you thought you could just walk in? Maybe you should take that MAGA hat and find another place to visit. We're a professional environment here. We aren't all rubies. Oh God, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh. His words drew quiet laughter from nearby employees, who exchanged amused glances. William remained composed, though the lack of professionalism was impossible to ignore. "William, thank you for your time," William said simply, standing and picking up his briefcase. He turned toward the door, his steps measured and unhurried. As he exited, Claire muttered loudly, "Good riddance." The laughter that followed echoed faintly behind him, but William didn't look back. His expression remained calm, but his mind was racing. He had seen enough to confirm the complaints that had reached his desk, the dismissive attitudes, the gossip, the lack of respect. It was all there. Later that afternoon, an email notification appeared on every employee's screen. Emergency meeting at 3 p.m. with the CEO. Attendance required. In the same email, the announcement sent shockwaves through the office. Speculation ran rampant, with employees whispering about potential layoffs or a major shakeup. Andrew leaned against the coffee machine, laughing off the concerns. "Probably just some boring corporate talk about teamwork or whatever," he said. Claire, meanwhile, scrolled through her phone, uninterested. At 3 p.m. sharp, the employees gathered in the conference room, their chatter fading to silence as the door opened. When William stepped inside, dressed in a sharp navy suit but still wearing the MAGA hat, the room fell utterly silent. At 3 p.m. sharp, the room fell utterly silent. Andrew's smirk vanished instantly. Claire's face turned bright red, and she looked down, avoiding eye contact. William approached the podium, his movements deliberate. Placing his papers down, he surveyed the room with a calm but commanding presence. "Good afternoon," he began. "For those of you who don't know me, my name is William Harris. I am the founder and CEO of Vertex Innovations." The gasps and whispers were audible, though quickly stifled. William continued, his voice steady. "This morning I visited this office not as your CEO, but as a visitor. I wanted to see firsthand how our company operates, how our employees interact with one another, and how we treat those who walk through our doors." He paused, letting his words settle. "What I experienced was disappointing. I was dismissed, mocked, and treated with a lack of respect that no visitor or employee should ever experience." William's gaze swept the room, his eyes landing briefly on Andrew and Claire, who were visibly squirming. But amidst the negativity, there was one bright spot. "Megan, Rivera, please stand." Megan's face flushed as she rose hesitantly. William smiled warmly. "Megan, your kindness and professionalism stood out. In a moment when others chose to dismiss and ridicule, you chose to help. Thank you for embodying the values this company should represent." The room erupted into hesitant applause as Megan sat back down, her cheeks still pink. William turned back to the rest of the room. "Effective immediately, there will be changes. Mandatory training on workplace ethics and professionalism will begin next week. Feedback channels will be established to address concerns anonymously. And let me be clear, disrespect and toxic behavior will not be tolerated in this company." William gave Jace a small smile. "Mighty." His voice softened slightly as he concluded. "It's not about a hat or your assumptions about someone's appearance. It's about how you treat others, no matter who they are. Actions define character, and character defines this company." The employees left the meeting in stunned silence, the weight of William's words sinking in. Claire was reassigned to a less visible role, while Andrew was placed on probation and required to attend leadership training. Megan, on the other hand, was promoted to a position where she could influence the company's culture for the better. As William left the office that evening, he glanced back at the building he had worked so hard to build. This time, the employees watched him leave with respect and a renewed understanding of what their company could become. What did you think of this story? Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever witnessed or experienced something like this in your workplace or community? We'd love to hear your perspective or any real-life story about respect, humility, and second chances. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content.